Hello, Wagner here.
Yes, Bill, I was just going to tell you about an incident in Miami that really scares the hell out of you. Scares you because you realize our whole legal system is built on corruption, and it's just know what you know is who you know.
Yeah, I'm recording. Do I have your permission to publish this, Bob?
Yes, you do.
We're speaking with Bob. Spell your last name, Bob.
Bertrand, Miami, Florida.
Bob's calling from Miami, Florida. It's like midnight back there.
Midnight.
Midnight. It's like 9:15 or something here. Sunday night. Today is September 26th, Sunday. What's happened, Bob, with this corrupt attorney there? What's his name?
His name's Scott Rothstein, and he had a big law firm, a huge building in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and he was one of the high mucky mucks in the whole legal system in Florida. He was on the Florida Bar Grievance Committee. He was on the Judicial Nomination Commission, which nominates all the judges in the state of Florida. And he had a very powerful law firm. And it was all the who's who of wealthy millionaires were subscribing to his law firm because he was extremely well connected inside the whole system. He's a good friend of Governor Charlie Crist. Rothstein. The law firm is Rothstein and Adler. Anyway, he was extremely well connected. He'd given $10 million to Governor Charlie Crist, and he also gave $10 million to Holy Cross Hospital. And extremely well connected and all over the place. And he was a who's who, and he had private jets that he owned himself, and he had private yachts, and he had a big, beautiful home on Fort Lauderdale Island. And his power was tremendous. He was a good friend of the sheriff, and he had several bodyguards that protected him all over the place wherever he went. Next thing you know, he got involved in way over his head. And when I'd been putting out flyers, all this whole area where this private island where he lives, and explaining how corrupt the legal system is. And I guess somebody squealed on them, and they got scared. And when they just on New Year's Eve, they went ahead and the FBI came and surrounded the building. They brought tractor trailers and put them in the parking lots, and the next thing you know, they raided the building, and they took out all the computers and all the filing cabinets and everything else, and they moved it down to the street to the FBI headquarters. So they'd taken over another building over there because there's so much stuff in that building. And when they audited everything, he stole $1.2 billion from innocent clients, and he donated all kinds of money to judicial campaigns, and everyone and his brother could get money from this guy because he was so well connected in the system. And matter of fact, one of the women lawyers in his law firm was mysteriously murdered on the beaches in Fort Lauderdale, and it turned out that the murder was the ex-husband of the office manager. And the office manager, for I guess having this little deed done, she received a $470,000 home in Weston, Florida, which is again another place where the high mucky mucks live. And she received this, and she was also in charge of all the accounts and payoffs and everything else of this. So she's very well versed on how corrupt the system is and how to get by with this thing. They contribute all kinds of money to judicial campaigns
What
against
was
the
what
whole.
was that office manager's name, Bob?
Her name is Villarello. Villarello. She's a Cuban lady.
First name was what?
She was very well connected to all the big law firms at the same time, and they got one of their contributors to their. There was a phony deal that they were buying futures on future lawsuits and all that sort of thing, and all this malpractice and everything else that they were involved in this litigation, and they were buying, selling futures and this thing, and all kinds of wheeling and dealing,
Did I,
and
Bob? Excuse me. Did I understand you right? They were selling futures
right.
on on
On
lawsuits.
lawsuits, on litigation, yes, on litigation is going to take place, and they were going to collect millions of dollars, and they were selling, interest in these all this litigation that they were filing, and they were, I mean, all kinds of crazy things they were selling, and they were catching these millionaire people that were very well heeled. And one of them owns a big Ed Morris. He owns a big car dealership, and but they'd taken millions and millions of dollars from these different people, and the whole thing was a phony scam. enough, they all of a sudden, when the feds came in and arrested them, they started squealing at each other. And the next thing you know, when they started squealing, this Scott Rothstein got sentenced now to 40 years in jail, and he's got to pay back. His wife was involved in this thing, and she also squealed on her husband, told him all the crooked deals he was involved in. And one thing after the next, and one lawyer after lawyer in the law firm has been indicted, and they're being thrown in jail. And I just think it's a crying shame when these people at the very top of the system are so corrupt, and they know how to get by with all these evil things that they're doing to the public. And somewhere on the line, there's got to be some accountability. And
Well, if the FBI threw some of them in jail already, if they've got them on under trial and arrest, sounds like some accountability is happening. But did I understand you to say Rothstein had stolen 1 million or 1 billion with a B?
1.2 billion dollars, and there's more money that's still missing.
But is that 1.2 billion with a
Billion
B?
with a B. And believe it or not, when they caught him, he went ahead and he got away, sneaked away, and got a plane in his own private jet, and he flew down to Morocco. And they think he was hiding money down in Morocco in one of the banks down there. And he got involved with a Toronto Dominion Bank, which is a Canadian bank, a new Canadian bank in Florida here. And he got them to launder some money for him, and he got different people to do some dirty things for him. And it just goes to show you how crooked and corrupt the Florida bar is. I mean, when you see people, it's in that particular case, the fox guards the hen house. And every year in the state of Florida, there are more than 10,000 citizens that write complaints against lawyers and judges in the state of Florida. And of the 10,000 citizens, 9,800 are told to go home. You got no probable cause. The lawyer didn't rip you off after all. And it's such a scam that, it's totally outrageous. And these are
So
the people
you're
that run the judicial system.
so you're saying, Bob, you got to speak a little louder, Bob. But
Okay.
you're saying that the judges are telling people to go home. They have no probable cause. They have no cause of
Well, this
action.
is in the Judicial Nomination Commission, Judicial Qualification Commission, and also in the Florida Bar grievance committees. It's just totally, totally outrageous.
Totally corrupt in Florida.
And they used to have these gag rules and confidentiality rules that say that you couldn't, after you issued a complaint against a lawyer or judge, if you complained openly about this thing, what they had done to you, they had the possibility to put you in jail. They were called the gag rules and confidentiality rules of the Florida Bar. In my particular case, I'd gone and this lawyer stole $140,000 from me. When I went to issue a complaint, the fellow's name was Jack Morrow. I went to issue a complaint to the Florida Bar, and they told me to keep my mouth shut. Jim Lewin, who's in charge of the Florida Bar, and he said, keep your mouth shut, or he said, we're going to have to put you in jail. In other words, we're going to determine what's going on here, and if we can cover it up somehow, that's fine. If we can't cover it up, still keep your mouth shut. Don't talk about it, and we'll investigate it on our own, and we'll be able to cover it up and on. It's just totally, totally.
How long ago was that this Florida Bar Association president or whatever his position was told you to shut your mouth?
Oh, this is about 10 years ago.
10 years ago, and that's why you're still mad about it. You never got your $100,000 back from your crooked attorney, did you?
Believe it or not, I did, but I didn't go through the Florida Bar. I went through the I.R.S. and the lawyer was hiding out in California. And I went to the Florida Bar, and they kept on saying, well, you have to get yellow pages from California. Maybe you can find them out there. But I said, he stole the money here in Florida. They said, well, it's too late. He's got a state, so he's out of our jurisdiction. In other words, he's still a member of the Florida Bar, but he's hiding out in California, so we got to kind of cover for him.
Wow.
And his name was Jack Raymond Morrow, and sure enough, I went on Catholic radio down here, and I happened to tell my story, how the judge has participated with this guy, because when I told the judge, I do not want this $140,000 in Morrow's trust account because the guy's a crook. And I said it right open in court, and I said, he's a crook, and I said, Judge, you put it in your trust account, or you put it in a separate trust account, because when the I.R.S. Sends me a bill for this $140,000, I want to make sure that the money's right there and pay them. In the meantime, he skipped off out of state. No one knew where he was. I got in Catholic radio one night and told the story about how this guy had stolen and how the judge had participated with the guy and kind of covered up for him. And I said, all of a sudden, sure enough, the guy called me. He said, this Jack Morrow is sneaking back into town, and he's going to visit his mother, and here's the address. So he gave me the name of the street address, and I said, have a process server meet him, and you're all set. So I did, and I finally, when I got to the judge's chambers, the judge asked him, "What did you do with the money?" He said, "It's out in California." He said, "Well, you had no business bringing it out to California. It belongs to Mr. Bertrand and is on the I.R.S. Bill." So finally, he said, You're not leaving this office until you get that money wired into my trust account right away." So anyway, I finally got my money back. But up until that point, the Florida bar had been threatening me. They're going to put me in jail if I talk about this openly. I have to keep all confidentiality. In other words, keep covering it up and don't let the public know that there's a thief in our midst and stole the money.